Hello and welcome everybody to another Sasquatch Secrets. Here we are, another week's gone by. Can you believe it? We're already going into the middle of July. Oh my goodness. Well, I hope you all had a great 4th of July and now on for more business. So I got a great show for you tonight. Good to see everybody in the chat is just humming. How many we got? We got about 25, 26 people, and it's growing. I got a great bunch of guys backstage, man. Let me tell you. But I'm going to go ahead and bring them on. We got a lot to talk about. So without any further ado...
Hello.
Welcome, Brendon Brown.
First, I wasn't ready to go.
Oh, you were numero uno.
Yeah, alphabetically, right? Yeah.
Welcome to the show. So glad you could be here to chit chat with us. And
I am very happy to be here.
Thanks for being here. I am thrilled. So let me keep going because I got a bunch more of you guys back there.
What's up?
Hello.
Forgot I sent you that picture. Where'd you get that picture?
I found it.
Oh, it's amazing.
I'll change it. But I loved it. I loved that picture.
Oh yeah, keep it.
Everybody, welcome Bob Dahl from the Bobbie Dizzle Podcast.
It is now the Caffeinated Cryptid with Bobbie Dizzle.
Oh, okay.
We've made marketing adjustments, but BobbieDizzle.com will get you there every day of the week.
Yeah. Okay. Awesome. Thanks for being here. Appreciate it. Glad you could be part of the panel. Next up is hello, Mr. Steenberg in the house, people.
Hello, Nikki. Good to see you.
How are you, Thomas? Good to see you.
I'm doing fine.
Oh, good. And last but not least, ever. Hello, Brent. The tall
What's
one
up?
is here.
I was definitely last to show up, so I'm last to
I kept
get
putting
on.
them, in order. So good. Glad to see you here.
I was doing my ABCs. Oh shit, I'm next.
Yeah, nobody ever knows who's gonna come.
Look alive.
But let us get going on today's subject. Let me rearrange us a bit. And today's subject, the BS of Bigfooting. We've been talking about it forever, and it comes up almost every podcast, everywhere. Not just my type of show or Steve Calls, but everybody kind of gets woven into whatever your talk is about. So we're going to go a little bit into that about big claims, and that requires some big proof, And what brought me along to this, before I even go on, I wanted to let you guys know that these gentlemen here, you have CARC, the Catskill Appellation, Brendon. I have his link down in the description. So if you guys would like to go over there and check out his channel, hit that subscribe. The same with Mr. Bob Dahl, the Caffeinated Cryptid. His link is down there below. I got you too, Brent. Got your link. And and Thomas, you know what? I don't know if I put yours in there or not. I'm gonna have to check now. I think I did. I don't know. Well, you guys already are all subscribed to Thomas. Everybody is. My
web page has gone down. We're having problems fixing it. The www.stever.com. Still got the YouTube thing going though.
Yeah. I'll get you in there. Don't worry. So I came upon a book in a thrift store because I'm always looking for Bigfoot books, right? And sometimes you can grab one or two. And as I'm looking through these books, a little bitty book, this little bitty book came to my attention, not because it was Bigfoot related, but because of the general title. And that title was On Bullshit. A little bitty book. And it intrigued me. And I read the first couple of pages right there as I'm leafing through stuff. And I'm like, oh my God, this is like made for Bigfoot. Because of the first thing it says on there is one of the more salient features of our culture is that there is so much bullshit, and everyone knows this. That's Harry G. Frankfurt, who wrote this book, who he is a renowned moral philosopher at Princeton University. And he's written several books. But this one in particular, he wrote about, BS, the BS of everyday life and people who do BS in particular. And I found it to be where you could completely compare that to our hoaxers of the Bigfoot community. Okay. And the importance of how do you, when you come across somebody who's not being honest and not being factual with their evidence, how we deal with them. And it does all depend on how we react. Okay. Because as we were kind of a little bit saying in the back here, you have to bring this stuff forward. We can't push it to the side, because then more and more hoaxing and bad stuff comes about if we just let it run rampant without bringing it to light. Bringing it the way Brent brings it out or Steve Coles brings it out. We need to say something and let people know what's going on out there. And it's all our opinion, of course, but with evidence, right? You don't see Brent put something up there on his channel without bringing the receipts. So, and that's important, but more so is that we've got so many new people coming into the field, constantly, that they need reminding, or they need to be taught over and over again, because we're going to keep seeing those same old pictures coming up, over and over. The giant sequoia, the creature from the giant sequoia, or anything from Squatch Master, or, all of these. They're going to keep coming up, and people need to know what's going on and what's happening now with a bunch of longtime Bigfooters in the community who are getting lazy? I don't know even how to say it, but they've just completely put themselves in positions that are incredibly, where it's so easy to call them a hoaxer now, like the Patterson footage lately, the masks, the black mask, and the claim, all that claim in regards to Nefertiti, or whatever that his Bigfoot is called. Just ridiculous stuff. So we have this weight system, right, that most people do. They're either, well, I like that person, but my heart's saying that, oh, that looks like a real Bigfoot, but my brain is saying no, or vice versa. And we deal with Brent's favorite thing, this confirmation bias, that we're always dealing with. And to me, I came across that bandwagon effect is the same for a lot of people who come into the field brand new. They just want to jump onto that channel that has 30,000, 50,000 subs and ride that train of whatever they're giving us, without even thinking about it. So I wanted to have that discussion about that main question, is a Bigfoot hoaxer nothing more than a narcissistic individual that can't control their impulses, that they only want to be in that limelight. And I know Brent has talked about that often, but also Brent, I'm going to ask you first, is that what you've seen lately? Because it's like more, doesn't it seem like bigger, people in the community now are they trying harder? What do you think it is that's making them do such bad hoaxes?
Yeah, I guess it's like you get that contentment of like with Mike Patterson. He's been doing it, what, 10 years or so, 15 years, who knows? And
Right.
he's only gotten so much evidence that a lot of people voice against on why it's not real, especially bringing up the whole Dwayne thing. And so, yeah, I mean, people like him probably need to try harder or whatever. I still wonder with that is if Mike is so mentally ill that Dwayne is taking complete advantage of somebody that should probably be seeking somebody for help or something. So with that, it makes you kind of wonder of how much manipulation is going on with some of these people, because is Dwayne really the true person behind all this, and Mike is just a victim of a narcissist. Now, I could say the whole thing with Lori, she was a complete narcissist and was able to control people quite well, including myself. And, to the point where it's like, oh, I was thinking what she was saying was going on there because of the limited evidence that I had and the limited exposure that I had to the tree. But yeah, I mean, a lot of these Bigfoot hoaxers that are out there trying to put all their information out there as fact, a lot of them are narcissists, and we see it in everyday life. And I'm sure we all have spouses, friends, relatives, mom, dads, brothers, sisters that are all narcissists. We encounter them, and the important thing is just developing the tools of recognizing them and actually how to navigate with them, because there's nothing you can ever do to a narcissist to get them to ever really kind of admit or back down, or like with Mark or some of these other narcissists that we talked about. They're a flawed individual that it's just causing a lot of havoc in the subject because there's no real facts in it. So they have the ability to control the information and have able to control a small population of people to help defend them, which is why a lot of people had a hard time talking up about them up until here recently, because of the flying monkeys would go bombard channels or go bombard people of gaslighting them, manipulating them, threatening them, and all this type of manipulation behavior coming directly from the master. And like we've seen it with Mark Zasky and stuff. So, it's an interesting dynamic that I think is now becoming more aware in this subject, especially with the more examples we give people. That is, a lot of it is obvious to us because we've known it for years, but it's just we're finding out a better way to talk about it, so the information kind of helps get across, and we diffuse those flying monkeys to the point where it's not so much of a battle against them, that they're going to have to address the information that's being presented, and they usually back down to the point where I don't really get attacked. I get more people thanking me for taking a stand and speaking up about these people, because someone, we need to. And I know Steve Coles have been doing it for almost a decade. The coalition and the people in there have been doing it as well. And you have as well. I mean, shoot, you're one of the first people in the podcast world I came across. I'm like, dang, this was like 5-6 years ago. It's like, dang, she's like talking some real truth. And so it's just, yeah, it's we're all learning this and really articulating it into a way that we can better understand it and spot it too, and also have the ability to call them out in a way that protects the integrity of the subject, which I think we all want in the end, because we want that valid, truthful information, because we all, a lot of us are here for the truth, the facts, what's going on out there. We want to find out. We're not here for the stories and that whole thing, because that's just not a thing. So that's my take on it.
Yeah, but that's how a lot of us feel. It's hard for some people to do that because they want to just ignore it, or it's or have that mentality of, okay, it's none of my business. I'll just do my thing and let that go. And I understand that. I completely understand that. Even more so now that I have a channel, because I came into it thinking that I would say and show things without fail. But once I got into it, I got hit by that whole Bigfoot politics,
Mm-hmm.
and
Which I think is silly and really was self-defeating to the subject itself because we couldn't get the right good information. A lot of us wasted our time. Look at Brian Sykes, great example. Wasted his time on bad investigators. Who did he go out with? He went and was like the Justin Smayhow. He also did the secret DNA thing with Lori Simmons and spent a ton of money on just BS. And he walked away thinking that there was nothing to this subject, really, is what he walked away from. But he came into it with so much hope and aspiration. He actually wanted to get the Nobel Peace Prize from doing a complete DNA study of a new undiscovered species that's living among us. But he couldn't do it because of, he was going after, or, he was with the wrong people. It's kind of like how Les Stroud goes out with Todd Standing and stuff. It's just how it's the dynamics in the game, and it's we're slowly breaking it down to the point where, here we are discussing it openly.
Mm-hmm. Brendon, being that now you've got such a great and wonderful channel, and you have to deal with a lot of people, and remain kind of neutral in your reporting and stuff.
Yes.
What are your feelings? How do you approach, hoaxers, or how you feel hoaxers, and remain that neutral person to report?
Oh boy, first of all, there's been so many times during the course of putting the show together that I've looked at the segment and I'm just coming unscrewed right on this evidence that's obviously it's just wrong, and I have to go back and I've got to re-edit it because the big part of the show is being unbiased, so I can't form my biases on the show. And we do a good job of sitting right on that fence with the skeptics and the believers, and it's not an easy thing to do because a part of me wants to just rip into whoever's ass is kind of, let's just talk like the Ontario, the monkeys on the fence. And that's what Michael Merchant is kind of for. I kind of feed Michael the fodder for the week, and he'll kind of put the colorful spin on it. I mean, he comes up a lot of the stuff, but sometimes when there's something that's really bothering me, like the whole Thinker Thunker issue and the whole the monkeys, the whole Ontario Sasquatch, that whole thing, when it really bothers me, I'll go to Michael Merchant and I'll have him do it, and it'll get through the show. But personally, I mean, that's why I kind of had to stop doing live shows, is because I just couldn't listen to somebody talk rhetoric and spew a bunch of bullshit for 2 hours and stare at them and not want to just go off on them, because I am a New Yorker, I'm a big guy, and I'm just a very type A, and I don't like to be lied to. That being said, now I pick my battles, and I usually let Brent or Steven do it. Steve Coles do it. I usually let Phil Poland, those guys do it, because they do it so well, first of all. And then I'll just pick up the pieces and report. Brent has been on my show probably more than anybody else, if you think of the content that he puts out, because he's the first guy I go to as far as what's going on with all this stuff, right? Because Brent does his homework on it. Personally, though, I just find it, most of the times I'll let it go, but sometimes it just gets so frustrating we were talking about, I do get a lot of, especially when we tear into somebody, when I did the Steve Cole's Thinker Thunker piece with the Family Guy chicken fight, I had so many people from Thinker Thunker's channel just light me up in the emails, and they were just unloading on me. But, like Brent said, you have to be strong and you have to hold your ground, and those people will generally back off and go away when you're not going to, they're not intimidating you. And he's the same way. Jed White is the same way. He'll just come at you with everything he has, but he's got an empty gun, right? Let's think of it. He's not nobody looks at him for any type of authority outside of his channel. Let's be completely honest. And I think that's for most of these people. I mean, I believe it or not, the Ontario Sasquatch guy is still sticking to it. Mike Patterson is still, if you go to his channel, he's still sticking to his guns, that it's really, and people like that live in denial, and they have lied for so long that they have talked themselves into this is their reality. And it becomes that they need the power, they need the attention. And if they don't have that attention, right? It's just there's just nothing, and I think that's where it all comes from with these guys.
And
it's
that's what I
yeah.
see. That's what I see exactly, is that they have lied and lived this way for so long that they believe in their lies, and creating more to support that is like nothing. It's,
Well,
you know,
that's what a narcissist's greatest ability is to
Yeah.
create and manufacture this at will, control it, and navigate it all, and project it onto other people,
and unleash those people, yeah, on other people. Yeah,
that's what they're very good at. You know, that's why I only specifically go after and discuss those specific people. Like I said before, for me, it's like a spectrum, you know, of people that I would discuss. Down here, you have the lower tiers, like, you know, the innocent hoaxers, like the Allens, for instance, you know, innocents that, you know, you can just kind of tell. Then it starts going up, you know, then you start getting into the you know, the more harsh people, like the Zaskis and all those people. And, you know, you just gotta, those are the people I go after, though.
right. Yeah, the hardcores, you know, the ones that really need to be pointed out immediately. You know, you need to catch them in their acts and do that. Thomas, in all the times and throughout these years that you've been researching the subject, and you've come across hoaxers, you know, you've told everybody, yeah, I caught him throwing the rock. You know, what more do you want me to say? I caught him doing that. But even earlier than that, has there been times where you ever thought, why is this person doing that? They don't need to do that. They were a good researcher and they just blew it out the wall? Or, you know, what, have you had that experience?
I've had every experience you can think of. Stick to the facts and never deviate from the facts. All right. A researcher is supposed to be someone who not only is trying to find evidence for the Sasquatch actual existence, it is also his job to look at evidence for its non-existence with equal consideration and measure. And exposing hoaxing and hoaxers is part of that. Okay? There are so many people out in this so-called field today that just are looking for their narcissism is the best way to put it. Looking for their 50 minutes. And they're almost willing to do and say anything because they know they're going to get at least a certain number of followers who ride on their every word. Okay? Yeah. All we can do is, if we know it's a hoax, just state our own opinion, and whenever asked, reiterate that whole opinion. I mean, it's happened time and time again. I catch someone hoaxing, everyone's going to find out about it. Okay, right. That's why a lot of people in this field don't tell me anything anymore, because they know I'm going to look at it. Yeah. Matter of fact, I've got it on good resources that there are actually people who are advising other people, make sure Steenberg doesn't find out about it.
Persona non grata, huh?
Yeah, it happens all the time.
So it's the Steenberg effect. That's what I'm facing.
Oh, a new one. Yes. There you go.
It's like the great filter, the Fermi paradox, Steenberg effect.
Yeah. And what about you, Bob?
Brandon was asking me about this. There's one thing about a witness hoaxing because he's just looking for a little attention. A so-called researcher hoaxing, I look at that as an absolute affront. Mm-hmm. They're making light of a subject I've devoted my life to, and I hate it. Okay. Mm-hmm. And I made up well, you were asking me about this earlier, Brandon. I made up a label for researchers who hoax and continue to hoax. I call it Ivan Marks syndrome. Mm-hmm. Because Ivan Marks was the first example of this I ever knew. And the definition of Ivan Marks syndrome is basically a researcher who may have been involved in something authentic once and is the center of attention for a while. But when that attention dies down, it turned out the attention was more important than the subject. So they start hoaxing to remain the center of attention. Mm-hmm. And it works until they get caught. Yeah. Then they're on damage control continuously. Yeah.
Yeah, for
And,
sure.
and there's been so much of that. In my opinion, 80% of what you see on the internet is BS.
Just 80?
That's a low number.
Yeah,
I'm-
I feel
I'm-
like, man,
I'm being generous. I like to think a
Okay.
lot more than that, but I'm being generous. The thing is,
I'm thinking 98.
we are supposed to be researchers trying to find an answer to a question. We're not religious fanatics pushing a faith.
exactly.
Yeah.
And there are too many people who call themselves hoaxers. They're actually more like religious fanatics trying to be pushing a faith. They're acting like a priest on a pulpit. And
Yeah.
it's their job to convince everyone else and string them along. And a lot of these researchers, they're not really interested in whether the Sasquatch exists or not. They just want everyone to look at them and think they're the modern version of Mulder and Scully. You know?
Get some Instagram followers too.
Yeah. Make their YouTube channels pay.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
It's usually narcissism or financial.
Sell a
Yeah.
T-shirt.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
can sell 500 T-shirts. It doesn't matter if it's real or not.
Right. I think
It-
Raptor even said that in the chat.
Yep.
All
Yep,
about
yep.
the money.
And
Where's
it's
my
I need some merch myself.
But Bob, you're doing these
What's that?
interviews and you're talking to people. Have you
Yes.
had that notion where you're talking to somebody in mid interview and just went, what? And
So-
have to do that, continue.
Yeah, I kind of have like this weird code of ethic on my show that everybody's 100% truthful while it's happening, but that has happened a lot. And it's not been from the Bigfoot guys. I've had just like guys that are in the woods researching, and I've had the old man that owns a farm who keeps getting his tomatoes stolen, and no in between. You all talk to those guys, but what I've found is the psychics. I'm getting off the Bigfoot subject a second because I do all aspects of the
Yeah,
paranormal.
that's fine. That's fine. Mhm.
And I found the UFO people are the absolute worst. There's I don't know how well you guys follow the recent scandal involving. I had to Google it while I was making y'all were talking, so thanks for being long-winded, Thomas. I don't know if you heard of Corey Good. Corey Good,
yeah.
He had the world famous blue duck aliens that took
Blue
him away
Aliens,
for 20 years.
yeah.
Brought him back unaged 20 years later, and this dude went before Congress. And he's just like, yeah. And he basically made his own cinematic universe and said it was real. And that's a lot what we're dealing with this, that black mask. What was his name? Neff. And,
Nefertia.
yeah. And Chad Todd
Neff for
Standing.
short.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the other dude, Coyote Peterson with his gorilla skull in Canada. Like his Instagram just got lit up for that. And it was just like, oh, well, sorry, it was fake. I had it down at the very, very bottom under 9,000 characters. Nobody. But yeah, since I've been doing the interviews, like you were saying, since I think I started like laying the wood to him in October of last year, I can't watch Ghost Hunters. I can't watch Finding Bigfoot. Bobo's dead to me. I can't. I'm sorry if you know him or not. I just can't watch those shows. I think he's one of the cooler ones, but I can't watch anything on TV. And when those scandals like that come out with Patterson, I'm like, I just want to throw my phone across the room. I'm like, people don't believe this. No one believes this. What are you doing with your life? And I look and his count on his Instagram going, I'm like, that's what he's doing.
Mm-hmm.
So like like Thomas said, what do you say? The Ivan effect, Ivan Crawford effect.
Ivan Mark.
Yeah, you get one piece of evidence that was shit hot 10 years ago, and you're just chasing that dragon. That's all they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel bad for those guys. But the other hoaxers, I don't.
Yeah.
That's all I have to say about that.
It has seemed that I don't get it, that even if they have a channel, okay, like Brent, we were talking about Mark Abel and he's Colorado Bigfoot, and he recently put a post up that you see down there on the left bottom, and it was clearly, the jerky Bigfoot,
Blatant.
It's making me hungry.
right,
Blatant.
put into Photoshopped, and he has a huge following. Okay, they've bought him a motorhome. They give him money whenever he asks for it.
You can get an RV for a bad Sasquatch pic?
For a lot.
Yeah.
Now,
Uh,
granted, he is in a great area. Okay, he lives in
you should check him
Colorado.
out.
It's a big,
I think I've seen it before.
huge structures, stuff like that. But he even has that bad photo with the guy in the hoodie, the black hoodie, looking in between the trees.
Oh, that was him. That
Yeah,
was supposed to. Oh, okay. Yeah, that one still has got like 9 million views. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
And I busted. Everybody's busted that one.
As well as what do you call it? Portal. He has a portal. He had a portal picture. I don't know. I haven't seen it in years, but he had this portal picture.
I'm sure it's still there.
And, but they still love him. You can even point out and people. We put the picture right next to you, Brent. Put the picture right next to the that photo, exact. But it doesn't make a difference to people. I don't understand that whole mentality that even when you're shown the proof, why do you not say, okay, yeah, that's wrong? Okay.
Now, do you think those people watched, or do you think those people are interested in the truth? Like, do you think his followers watch Brent's content? I don't think so.
No.
No, because there's so many people now who just want to be part of that new X-Files type genre, excitement. They're willing to believe and push anything. And they don't care if there is actually a Sasquatch up there or not. They couldn't give a damn. They're just interested in the fun.
The entertainment,
and the high and the high they get from it, and things like that, and the attention they get from it.
The narrative that's created, like Mark Gable's really successful at doing that. He can go out anywhere and create an interesting narrative. That's actually why he's one of my favorite LARPers that I'll listen to, because he'll go out there and he'll just be silly. I think he just gets like really high, goes out there to the forest and like, look, there's a fairy person over there. Look, there's a Bigfoot. It's just, but he also does it for the donations. And I wonder about his, the Colorado Bigfoot subscriber base on if it's a cycle thing, because he's got a lot of subscribers, but he only gets like a few thousand views per video. But I wonder if a lot of people, get done with them and kind of move on from them. And it's just, he's the one, since the algorithm comes in higher at him, since he's got more videos and interactions and stuff, that's where all the newbies come start in, is with the Colorado Bigfoots and the Mike Patterson's there. But I would, the thing is, with the picture you have up here, I would put a distinction between Noel and Zasky and the other people on the other side there, because Noel and Zasky, they believe, I think they truly believe, like Mark Zasky truly believes 20 foot tall Bigfoots down in Florida now.
That's the guy's name. I was trying to remember the guy that came unhinged when you did something against him. Oh God, that video! I can watch that video over and over again, dude. He was just
was whole.
Brent's
thinking the same. Thinking the same way, because that was my next point. Is that we've got these BSers who are mindless. Okay, they just do stuff and they believe in what they do, and you can't tell them any different, because that's what they see is the truth, right? Now, of course, Zasky, everything he sees, I don't think he sees anything real. Everything is after the fact. He goes home and watches his little iPad and whatever. Oh, look, there's a face. Zoom in.
Took him 25 years, right? Took me 10 years to find that.
Yeah, it gives him purpose, though. With like Zasky, it gives him purpose in a life that he probably didn't have much purpose in. But now he can come into the Bigfoot subject and be an authority, a person that he teaches classes on how to find Bigfoot, so that's, a real big angle, I think, with Mark, is that it's just the amount of control that he's able to have in it, and, was able to go free for like a decade or something on it. But anyways.
And get monetary support.
Yeah. Teaches classes on how to find Sasquatch. I take it there's been no graduates yet, since it hasn't been found.
It's through the mail.
Yeah.
I checked the papers at Publix this morning, the checkouts. Nope, still none. The hot sheets.
And how, I don't know if you've noticed, but all these people that seem that I personally don't, agree with their research, their photos, their anything, it always seems like they do believe in each other. Now, as of recently, Of course, Standing came out with saying that Sasquatch Ontario was a fraud. Okay, he says he's a fraud. And was it, I don't know, somebody's show, was it yours, Brent, that, it was just the opportune time for him to come out because he couldn't do that beforehand. He needed to do that while everybody else was on Sasquatch Ontario.
Yeah, it's like if he had all this information, why didn't he speak up about it? But it also comes down to, like you said, the amount of drama and attention that you do get for, and how bad people talk to you about this information that you're presenting about how this guy's a fraud for X, Y, and Z reasons. And it's a hard thing to present to the Bigfoot community and withstand that bombardment of attacks you're going to get. But here recently, it's been easier, and that's why Todd Standing is now just like, oh yeah, he's a fraud. And it was interesting to hear him. Literally, I turned on his live stream, and he just started talking about this. I'm like, oh geez, where's my screen record?
Yeah, you made my day when you did it there. That was fun. I was like, nice. That's an easy one for the show.
Yeah, it's a nice little nugget there. It was a fun piece of information, because Todd Standing speaking up against Mike Patterson. The more people speak up against it, granted it's Todd Standing, but the more people that speak up against them, the more people that are having a hard time believing us will believe it more because of all the people talking about it. That's why I always recommend, if you're going to talk about somebody or something like that, put their name in the title and make sure you put it in the tags as well, because you want other people to find your video so they know exactly what you're talking about. Even timestamp it if you have to, because if you go look at some of the videos I talk about, my video's right up there with it. So, within the first 10 videos, sometimes 20 for sure, one of my videos about them will pop up, which is great because that's what you want. You need those type of resources out there, but it comes down to how it's also presented, because you want to present it in a way that you're not attacking people, that it's presented in a non-biased perspective as much as possible, and so people can absorb that information and not just feel like you're attacking the individual that you're talking about. So it's equally important on how you talk about them.
It's very important, to come across as professional and as non-biased, as not as dogpiling, right? You don't want to be like, I'm kicking this guy because I'm just going to kick this guy for no apparent reason because I got a personal grudge against him. That's not going to get you anywhere. And I think the way Brent does it, and I think the way Steve Cole sometimes gets a little wrapped up in it. That's only because he's so passionate about the subject, right? But I think the way Brent does it is, and Brent brings it, Brent brings the backup, right? It's like, okay, if you don't agree with me, let's do this right now. Let's have it out, and that's the way to do it. You can't just throw the punch when he's not looking, right? I guess is how you can say it.
Right. Well, Brent is one of the foremost people to do that. He always says, you don't agree with me, come tell me why. Let's record it so that everybody can see what you're saying and what I'm saying, and just have a conversation. I mean, we're grown-ups, right? And we're talking about Bigfoot.
Yeah, well, Brent did that a little while ago. He tried to get Randy Brisson and myself on the same thing because they call it hoaxing, but Randy wouldn't do it.
I was like talking to Randy. It's like, well, let's work this out. It's, if you don't have anything to hide, you have no problem talking to somebody about the allegations against you. But when you do have something to hide, then that, there's you're not really going to go talk to somebody about that, because how are you going to really defend yourself? But I also get the perspective of how the person being talked about might also be attacked on. They might have that, if I go on their channel, they're just going to be attacked or something like that, and that's why I always try to do hey, let's do a third-party channel like Brendon and stuff, have him host it or something that can navigate it. So it's like with Zaski, it's like my issue was I was worried about him, just taking me off once he was mad at me, which was just in the conversation.
Thing is, they take their kickball and go home. Yeah,
right.
I'd be more than happy, Brett, anytime.
Absolutely.
I would have disappeared 3 decades ago if I got upset every time someone attacked me.
Oh man,
I've been called a lot worse by a lot better people. That's the only thing I think.
True. And you do have to put it in that perspective, okay? many of us haven't really even met each other in person. You know, we come along and we see each other online, and some of us have gotten to be good friends, but we really don't know each other all that well, you know. We want to hope that the individual you talk to on a weekly basis is being truthful to you, but at any time they could be blowing smoke up your arse. You know what I mean? You don't know.
I mean, all we can really do is express what we know and express our own opinion. Like, I've had people come to me, well, can you prove Todd standing big? I mean, I'm out there trying to find all my time trying to find evidence for the existence of the Sasquatch. I haven't got the time or the desire to go following Todd standing around.
You don't? Come on, Tom. I thought you were a team player.
I don't want to do it. If you want to continue to believe him and chase your tail, go right ahead. You know,
for sure.
I got better things to do. Yeah.
Yeah.
I would definitely wear a gorilla mask if I was following Todd standing around, though.
He already has the gloves, so you're all good.
He's already there.
Jeff from Pine Island Research in the chat said something great. He says, I think some of these hoaxers view the Bigfoot community as the WWE. There's many people rooting for the bad guys as there are for the good guys. And
it's got a little bit of that to it.
Point. Yeah, for sure. But are these guys, okay, let's say that half that we know are hoaxing. They're doing this, and they continue to do that, right? So what would make a hoaxer keep hoaxing and know it? Like Rick Dyer, we talked about this, right? Money, right? Is it mostly money, notoriety, how many clicks and views? But what would make, Mike Patterson put up a face like that and say that's real?
A narcissist.
Yeah, I think Brent's right. I mean, the technology's caught up to these people, right? So they have to know they're going to get caught, because technology is not what it used to be, right? So we can now have the abilities. Everybody has the ability to figure this stuff out if they really put 2 seconds of time in. But a narcissist is a narcissist. I can get away with it, and people aren't going to care. And if I get backed into a corner, I'm just going to circle the wagons and defend my thing, and that's it. I'm not going to. If I never admit to it, I'll never get caught. Is what they think.
Exactly.
It reminds me of a lot of the lifetime politicians that say things they said in the 70s. Like, we have tape of that, don't you? Like, I never said that. Yeah, you did a lot.
And that's what it's going to take.
Well, I noticed a long time ago when most of the discussions are on like the BFF page and things like that, when you caught somebody and you exposed them and there was really no way they could BS their way out of it, they usually would just go totally silent on that particular subject, wait for a certain amount of time to go by, and then they say it all over again, acting like nothing ever happened.
Yep.
I think it takes a lot more. They're really thinking about how they're going to pull over their next thing, Then that just boggles my mind that they're sitting there thinking, what can I do now? I need to put something out.
The sad reality, Nikki, is it's going to get a lot worse because with AI and stuff, and it's becoming so easy.
Oh, yeah.
And one of my biggest complaints about this great tool we use called the internet is it's a soapbox for every snake oil salesman out there. It just makes it so easy.
Yeah.
They can say whatever they want, and everybody else has to jump through hoops to try and prove them wrong. My late friend Bill Miller, I used to say, why are you wasting so much energy and all this effort trying to prove this is a fake and that's a fake? They're just going to say it again anyway. And they're going to have to.
I'm talking to MK Davis tomorrow there, Tom. Speaking of Bill Miller and the Bluff Creek Massacre theory.
Oh, my God. I couldn't do it.
He's coming on the show. So
although I don't know how I got Rick Dyer to come on and do that interview with how much I knew, he was full of it. But to have somebody like MK and the whole massacre and stuff.
Well, we're not talking about the massacre. It's just we're talking about the hand.
You have a copy of the article?
Yeah, but still.
Do you have a copy of Bill Miller and I wrote about all that when it first came out?
Yeah, you gave that to me. You gave that to me way back in the day.
If you don't have it, I'll send it to you before your show.
Yeah, actually, I'm going to be doing.
I'm just doing a quick interview about the hand, that whole hand thing that's come back around again.
Yeah,
the Bigfoot hand thing. That so he's got his nose up that thing. So we're just having a quick. That's for another show. So go ahead, Nick. Sorry.
Show. Yeah.
Sorry.
What, Brent?
Yeah, actually, I'm going to be doing a video on that Thomas, the whole article that was on your website, when that Bill Miller wrote.
Really
that's a really good. Yeah, that like really breaks it down. Do a video talking about that because a lot of people should know, especially the shenanigans with David Paulides and how he used information to he manipulated information in order to create a narrative. And that's where this really a lot of it stems from, is people like him. And
yeah, he's the one that started that whole thing. If you go back to the tenets of Bluff Creek Massacre, right?
Yeah,
Tom?
he's one of the original him and
Bobbie.
besides MK Davis, Bobby Short. Yeah.
Bobby Short was involved in that as well. Yeah.
Yeah. By creating it's going to be interesting. Yeah. A lot of people should know more about that because that's really good information. And I know it's been discussed before, but you know how these cycles are.
Yeah, that's a good one because that camp is thoroughly entrenched in that, and that's a whole other thing. Nikki, is confirmation as conspiracy theories within this community. There's a whole other ball of wax down the road.
Yeah, I kind of touched a little bit on that last week, where you can have some of us are on one side and some are on the other, right? But even on our own side, there are different takes, of what has happened. This isn't real because of this. No, it's not real because of this. This is what really happened. All different takes from the same side.
It's interesting of how we perceive that information that's being talked about there, of how it's introduced to us and who introduced it to us. Because, you might come into this subject or whatever, thinking the Patty film, you might contact somebody they say, oh yeah, the Patty film's not real for this reason. And then you'll come in contact, oh, they're real for this reason. Oh, actually there was a massacre and stuff. So I think a lot of it comes of how you come into contact with the information and how much you trust that individual.
Who introduced you to the whole subject matter.
Yeah.
I might as well. I was going to type it. Joe, we're talking the unknown origin, the hand of unknown origin. Okay, that's what we were talking about. Not anything new. This thing has been around for
years, 20 plus freaking years.
Yeah, he put alcohol in there and destroyed it.
Well, that's the other thing is I don't want to give away the farm, but it's what, and that's another thing is we're right here is people are basing what they know about the Discovery Sasquatch show that was just on, right? So everybody is taking that as law, right? That must be the truth because that's what I heard on the internet. When in fact, all these things are completely misnomers. I'm talking to Todd Dissotel, who kind of might know a little bit about DNA and about anatomy, and so. Again, if people are smart enough, and a lot of people aren't, they just want to get their clicks and get their. That's why YouTube created the shorts, right? To get your fix, and then you move on. But and that's why but that's also why kids' cartoons, the Looney Tunes, were only 7.5 minutes long, right? The attention span of a human being is not that long. But if you go and do your research, you will find out that 9 out of 10 of these things that are fabricated fall apart in the first layer, right, of the onion. And Brent is one of the ones that does it, and not a lot of people want to do it. A lot of people, whatever, just let it go. Or wow, it's cool. I watch more of that stuff. So, Brent, like I said, it's great to have the show like this because it would be great for the people if you could somehow have an executive board where you could watermark everybody's content that was caught hoaxing for like 2 years, right? So you get a watermark on your content like a scarlet letter. Right, but that doesn't happen.
Executive board.
That's the first time I've heard that.
All you can do,
council.
All you can do though is put that information out there, and that's why I talk about the importance of putting the title name of like the person in there. Like, go look at my videos; it all has those people's name in there, and it's all in the tags. So whenever those people are searched on the internet, boom, it pops right up, and some of them are pretty high up there. So it's like the more people talk up about it and present it in that way, so other people have easy access to it, the better off reduced role those hoaxers will have going forward, you know, with Mike Patterson's and stuff.
Mhm.
I can't wait to see what his next video is going to be.
I was just going to say that. I was just going to say I'm sure we're not going to hear from him for quite a while, but he's going to have to really pick
Yeah.
his content.
Hey, I'm
carefully.
gonna stop you real quick. Bob's got to go. He's got a prior engagement, so he just came in to say a quick howdy do and to get into the conversation with us for this first hour. So thank you for coming, Bob.
Oh yeah, it was great. Wouldn't miss it for the world. Nice to meet everybody, and I'll spam you soon.
Don't
Yeah,
worry.
well, I
we'll bring
just
you back
subscribed to your
on.
channel.
Oh, cool. Thanks.
Yeah,
I've
we'll
been looking through y'all's as well. Looks pretty
I
interesting.
covered your show last week. It was on my show. I had your show on my show.
That's what I'm talking about.
Awesome. Yeah, no, we'll bring you back on, Bob, and we'll have more conversations. Don't worry about that. But thank you for being here, and hope to see
Thanks
you
everyone. Thanks everyone watching too.
Thank
Nice to
you.
meet everybody.
Great meeting you, Bob.
Yeah, you too, Thomas. See you.
So there we go, rearrange. So with all that being said, I know that, you know, I show a lot of stuff on here, and I decided that I needed a way to, I don't know, put my little mark on things even better with my own BS meter for things that I see. And of course I have on there the real deal, which I don't think I'll be using that one too much, but you know, low suspect BS, you know, mid suspect, high, and total BS. And according to whatever
It works.
I do, I am going to give it a rating the Sasquatch Secrets way. So oops, it'll turn off now. There we go. And I'm gonna start using that for show me what you got and stuff like that, and we'll try it out and see how that works. And you all can also in the chat, you know, join in on that, what you think, if it's real or not real. This was a bigger BS meter I had found, and it's actually on the promo, but this is kind of like what I think about when I'm looking at stuff. You know, could it be true? Is it mostly true? Almost believable, but there's something missing, right? It just goes into this order. And weasel alert, you know, something's really off. That stinks. What a pack of lies or total BS.
I'd stick with your first meter, Nikki. It's simpler.
Yeah, no, that's why I created that one. This one is like, it's always going to have missing facts and stinks. And, you know, I needed to be a little bit more general. Just my opinion, okay, about this stuff. You guys need to take those red flags I always talk about and make your own decision. I just want to give you the tools and make people around us available to you, like Thomas and Brendon and Brent and Steve. All, you know, use us as more information. You're just gathering little pieces of information to help you determine what to look for when you're looking at all these pictures and videos that are being put out publicly. Okay, I'm not digging into people's private stuff. This is all stuff that has been out. Now, this is the 2008 Silverton Bigfoot photo. I think this was in your area. Wait, where was this? This was the one in Colorado. In 2008, this photo was taken that allegedly captured the Bigfoot trotting beside the Animas River in between Durango and Silverton narrow gauge railroad near Silverton, Colorado. So to me at first, I thought it was one of those boards, you know, one of those board things. And so I zoomed in a little bit. I still think it may be one of those, but I don't know. It has kind of like a fuzzy thing. And I thought, well, maybe it's just a Photoshop, you know, but there supposedly were witnesses, I guess. So.
Well, you can see them on the train, right? That's one of those prospecting sightseeing trains.
Yeah, it's probably.
Was there a whole background story to it? Like we know who the was.
Okay. It says here a few. So the problem with this photo is that it's obviously someone jogging, is how the story went. Someone jogging along the riverbank's path in sweats and a hoodie with a hood pulled over his head. The vantage point, too, shows that the photographer who took the picture was at a vantage point that is likely parking lot or an overlook. But I don't see it on a path. It looks like it's in the freaking creek. So that didn't make sense to me. Unless it's a completely, the view is weird. I don't know. But I think they missed when they placed.
Well, it may not be an attempted hoax, rather a misidentification.
That's true. That's true.
Maybe the photographer really thought he was looking at something unusual.
So I guess in this area this happened in 2008, but in 2010, Rick Lewis, the owner of the Bigfoot Central gift shop and the Legend of Bigfoot Museum on Blair Street in Silverton, tried to organize some kind of hunt for Bigfoot. And in that event, he offered $1 million reward in return for the verifiable photograph of Bigfoot. But the hunt was canceled. And after skeptical torn officials raised all kinds of questions and stuff, whether it was actually real, it was stopped. And without the photographer coming forward for this particular photo, with a legitimate backstory, we don't really know. Plus, what else was about this? It was deemed a hoax, and I even saw that DW, what's his last name? Lee, yeah, said that it was not legitimate in so ever. But they never say if it was a Photoshop or, somebody in a suit or anything like that.
A quick question: who organized it? The search for the hunt for
It
Bigfoot?
was Rick Lewis,
Who's
the owner of Bigfoot Central gift shop in the area.
Okay. So it's a good marketing ploy.
Yeah, that's another thing. So this could be part of a big old picture in his gift shop. I don't know. It's the draw, is what I'm thinking.
Well, the $1 million offer, I mean, that's something that'll get you headlines. It's guerrilla marketing. It's a way to create attention and marketing and headlines and stuff. Todd Standing's like brilliant at it. His whole lawsuit was guerrilla marketing to better promote his documentary. And that's probably what this is. It's right next to a sightseeing train,
Right.
And,
that's what I think it is.
Yeah, and it's just probably something that someone made. I posted a picture that is up in Lake Stevens here in Washington of someone made a Bigfoot right next to the road, and it's up from a stump, and it looks cool. Right. It looks like a Bigfoot, and it's just there for people to see. So you have all these different elements of, okay, it's a business owner that has an ability to profit off of all the information being produced from this hoax or whatever, and so that there's kind of a bit of a red flag that people need to focus on, because that's kind of developing the tools necessary. And so you have to really look at it from all the different angles of where this information is coming from, because it might give you clues on how valid it might be.
Yeah, I think this is photoshopped. In my world, it looks photoshopped to me.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm looking at it here, and you're looking at it on my phone, and if you look at it, it looks like the legs are brown. Like, it looks like there's brown pants and a black shorts on. So I think that it's either a misidentification or it is a marketing thing for like the Durango Silverton Railway.
Yeah.
I remember this is a long time ago, this one, right?
Yeah.
This is 2008.
2008.
Where does the time go? But yeah, I mean, it's obviously not a Bigfoot. So
and only one photo? Was it their last piece of film?
Yeah, that was the only photo. And
you'd figured that'd be like angles. 50 more.
Yeah, the photos are here. They're all of the same one. They're just different zoom in, you know.
Yeah, but
But,
there's kind of a red flag that there's only one photo of it as well, when there's an opportunity for multiple photos, especially
Right,
if the picture was taken from a parking lot, like they alluded to earlier in the thing.
right. Well, we're marking that as
There you
bad,
go.
bad. Yeah. This is another famous photo, the trapper photo.
Yeah, and I can tell you exactly what you're looking at. The butt end
There
of
we
a
go.
bear that's got its head. It's digging for something. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, that happened back in 2012. The first photo appeared on Who Forded blog, and Bigfoot Evidence with the following information said that it was this known person. Wait a minute, where am I reading? Why is that there? Hang on, sorry. Okay, it said a woman named Penny. There we go. Who claimed that it was originally taken by a game trapper from Alberta.
Those guys, one of those guys.
And said, I know this person. They're a dog sledder and would in no way be the type to try to fool around with fake pictures. They actually think it's a bear with a cub, but for some reason they only have one photo.
Well, it's just it's just another take on the Jacobs photo. Really, it's just kind of the same misidentification of a bear. And a particular bears do a lot of strange stuff, and it's really not that strange to the bear. Tom, right?
Right.
Thomas.
Right.
Bear doing bear activity, digging.
Bear doing bear things.
Well, it's not a Bigfoot. I don't believe it's a Bigfoot. It's a bear. It is a bear. Okay.
But I can see how somebody can.
Right.
How somebody can think that is. You can see like the head, the arm there, the leg.
Oh yeah,
just, you can
eyes.
easily. That's a good pareidolia picture, but yeah, it's clearly not.
Have you seen that?
I don't think originally the guy claiming it was a Sasquatch, he probably gave them the picture saying, "Hey, look at this bear picture."
And somebody took it upon their own accord
which happens a lot. You know, people taking photos and then making their own story up with it. So, I mean, because this one always reminded me of that photo of that, the bird. It was a black crow or something flying, but the way it flew in front of the camera made it look like there was a Bigfoot.
That was like a 1 in a million type of shot, right?
Yeah,
right by the bird feeder or something like that. It was some sort of weird, but yeah, I remember that one. Yeah.
That it always reminded me of that. So that's that one. And here's another one.
What is this one?
This is the Atoka, Oklahoma trail cam. This was back in when I didn't put the date on there because I don't have the date.
That's in the mid 1990s. I remember that one. Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
What is it called? Tell us, Thomas.
Yeah, guy's obviously got a fur on his back there.
Yeah, exactly.
I've never seen that one before. I've never seen that one before.
Yeah, so this one supposedly, where is talk to people around Clear Boggy Creek in Atoka County, and you will hear thousands of stories. But last week, the legend himself, Bigfoot, was supposedly spotted in those very woods. They have grown up in these woods and they know them well. But the last week, 13-year-old Morgan Watley and her 12-year-old brother Garrett came across something strange right across the creek. Was a creature she'd never seen before, but the claims that the Watley kids were passed off as a child's imagination. What does it say at the end of this? That it's all over the news and on everybody's mind. What is seen in Boggy Bottom, some people say was a Bigfoot, others aren't believers. But it clearly is some bear hide over somebody, walking.
Yeah, that's just bad.
It is. It's pretty bad.
What about a Bigfoot wearing the bear hide, huh? Let's consider that bad boy.
Oh, easy. I saw a Bigfoot wearing a bear hide.
Yeah. Hey, you never
anyway,
know.
I had seen this photo, but I didn't know the name of it. So when I did run into it, I was like, oh, it has a name. It's the Atoka, Oklahoma. So, yeah, no, that's just a bear hive.
You got to play the music. Where's the sound effect?
Oh God.
There it is.
Okay.
Fix it.
Next, we've got the Berg Park, Farmington, Colorado figure of 2011. So this one was always weird because it looked so weird from this angle, and I thought that maybe it was, a Photoshop. And let me go to the next one.
Oh,
that's what we're looking at right there. Because the legs look so weird.
It's a bad Photoshop, man. You can see it clicked
right?
on there.
So let me see. This one says this was the title of the album of a Facebook find Bigfoot, Juvenile, New Mexico, 12 miles south of Colorado. Says that it has no credibility at all because they put this out and proclaimed it to be real without doing the investigation behind it. This is a hoax. The figure was placed there by an individual as a prank, as the photo clearly shows the shoulders of the person standing behind the other tree.
I don't see
the other tree. I'm gonna go back. Let me see. There's somebody behind there.
If he is, I can't see him.
I can't.
Whatever happened to Facebook Find Bigfoot? Remember that group, Facebook Find Bigfoot? Facebook.
Turns out they are out of Minnesota, but many of the stuff they did, they must have affiliates in California because I found a bunch of stuff with California on it. But yeah, no, they just faded out after all the criticism they got. So here is the follow-up photos taken. And it does kind of right size for a kid.
I mean, even if you came to me and pointed out, I would never picture that and go, oh, that's a Bigfoot. It looks like a knot in the tree, or it looks like the legs look too thin to be, I don't know, it just doesn't even look like a living human being, a creature. It just looks like a pareidolia. It looks like something.
Right.
Yeah.
I kind of thought that maybe it was just the boy up there doing that. And then they blurred the picture right there. Because it kind of looks like dark shoes.
Yeah, it does. The color on the shoe, I was noticing that. There's a color. Yeah. The shoe's going to look.
So there's the.
Someone send it to Thinker Thunker.
Yes, it's Bigfoot. 100%. And here's why.
So that's the Berg Park, Colorado figure. And now we have one that's kind of a fun one. Oh, shoot. Are you guys still there?
Yeah.
What did I do? Okay. I went black for a moment. Because I've seen Big Phil photos, but I never really knew the whole story behind the Big Phil. And this guy is DB Young, Don Young. And he had taken this supposedly photo taken by his trail cam. Now that's lightened, okay, because the original photo is super dark. You can just barely see, the outline from the head and stuff up. So I lightened it just a little bit. But this trail cam was taken on February 14th, 2007 of a Bigfoot outside his home. And of course, Matt Moneymaker convinced Wally Hersham to pay a reported $10,000 for the rights to that photo right there. Immediately, the image was leaked out, and it was quickly condemned as an obvious hoax because, I mean, it just looks like
it's funny. I leave it to Moneymaker to get it wrong, right?
I remember Matt pushing this one.
Yeah. I don't remember. It's funny. It's great because I don't remember most of these besides the train one. I've never seen any of these other ones.
And this is another one of his. Is it a video? I think this one is a video too, but I didn't find the video on this one. This is the one I didn't find the video. But this photo here of a Bigfoot there on the side moving some of his logs around. He claimed was real. Now, this, you can find these on ParanormalZoneTV, and I put that link in the description if you want to see that whole interview that Noreen does. Noreen's been in the paranormal field on YouTube for a really long time and has a lot of great interviews and stuff, but she interviewed Young about all this stuff. Okay, so that's where you can find it. The link's in the description. And that fuzzy little
Got an ear?
doll. It looks like it looks like one of those monkey things, you used to have. Kind of looks like that from the side there. So him, Wally Hersham and Don Young had made a little preserve area in their area back in 2010 to save their Bigfoot in that area.
Like the Bigfoot's going to stay in like the 12-acre park.
But of course, the BFRO said it was real. It was the real McCoy, is what they said, and conducted an expedition there in 2007 in order to profit from it.
I got a question for you, Nikki. Where did the BFRO becoming the end-all be-all come from? Does anybody know? Like,
from that moneymaker, because in the beginning, people wanted to believe him. I think, people wanted to believe that he knew what he was talking about. To me,
BFRO started in the early to mid 1990s, and originally it was just supposed to be individual researchers having a common area to put their evidence in. They're supposed to be individual researchers all agreeing to be mapped, and when something came up, the closest guy would be called to go look at it.
Oh, okay. Right.
That's how it started. Okay. And slowly through time, Matt started being the grand poobah of the whole thing and things like that, which irritated so many good researchers like Diane Stocking and Rick Knoll and stuff. They gave up on it altogether and went their own way. But that's how the BFRO started. It originally was just supposed to be an amalgamation of individual researchers to have common ground to which to report their evidence. That's what it was supposed to be originally. Okay.
Yeah, the only reason I didn't mean to cut you off, Nikki, but it's like you see when people use that a lot. Like the BFRO was called in and they said it was real, and it's like it seems like a lot of people throw those initials around. And I don't know what they have. I mean, I know it's a big brotherhood, and I get that Mike's part of it, blah blah blah. But they seem like they hog their information and their locations, and they haven't pushed the ball forward much. So I don't know why everybody gives them all the credit, because I think there's a lot of other people out there probably doing a lot more pertinent research. So sorry about that.
No, of course. It just I don't even think they keep up with it anymore. They do, occasionally I see some bumps and changes, but not like it originally when it first came out. I think
I know people who are part of the BFRO, the back end of it, of how the report intake is done, and there's no real system in place, and reports can sit dormant for months because there's no real, the BFRO was great probably 10, 15 years ago, but it's a leaderless group that I was actually going to do a video on this because it's such a disappointment for us right now, because these people have told me that they don't put all the reports out that they get. It's subjective. It's subjective on all this information. So it's like, okay, the BFRO, you pull up on Google, they're the number one, right? So the number one intake for Bigfoot information is suppressing a lot of the information because of a subjective bias. That's not a really good way to operate, and something that should be, discussed more. But there's a lot that the BFRO, if you look at their website, it's a very outdated website to the point where they can't. I don't think that they can migrate all the information, all the reports over to any sort of new system to upgrade the actual website, which is why I don't think that they're putting a lot of focus and effort into really maintaining it. All it really does is like Matt Moneymaker's updates that he does as far as more promotional stuff of when BFRO expeditions happen and stuff. Actually, when I first got into this subject, I wanted to go do one. It was like $500-$600 a person.
Mike does it all the time. The guy that has showed me, he loves that shit, man. He's right up the BFRO. He loves it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Whatever.
you know, and
his own, right? So
yeah, but no, the BFRO, there's a lot of great people in it. It's just unfortunately it's a leaderless organization now that as unfortunately doesn't have any real focus or goals or motivation to really present the Bigfoot subject in a way that we need to present it, because it's really doing us a disservice. I mean, I would love to get information, a full breakdown of like new reports coming in from this area, but you know, they got to rely on like the BFRO and stuff because that's where people go to.
It's archaic, and it seems like, you would think that because you have the NAWAC, you have the Mike did some stuff on that. I don't want to let's get away from that. So what are we looking at here? Where was the picture?
So these are still, this one is the eyes between the trees. This is a video. You can find it on that link I have down there on Paranormal Zone, and it's very hard to see. I've got it up here, but it's super hard to see. It's just a bunch of mess going on.
I can see it.
But this is the screenshot I took with the best view. That's all you see right there, and a bunch of motion is in the video.
Now, is this guy talking? Is this the one with the guy talking? Like some guy is filming this or something like that?
Yeah, no? He doesn't. He is talking to Noreen, and about this because she's playing it on her show.
Oh, okay.
But this is one he claims is a Bigfoot there in it could be. I don't know.
I see them a little bit close together, don't they? If it would be a Bigfoot,
it's kind of high. It is kind of high.
It could be an owl.
I feel it's definitely reflective eyes, but God knows what it is.
Could be a tree octopus.
Do you want me to...
Tree octopus.
Could be.
Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and play it. Why not?
North American Tree Octopus Association.
I'm gonna take.
Let's play it.
Start it.
I'm gonna play it. So, share screen. Here we go. Computer. Okay. Here we go. Video right now. Hold on. I'm gonna play the video. So there you go. I guess those other, either the little dog growling or the big woof woof, one of those is supposedly the Bigfoot doing that.
It's impossible to tell what's going on in that audio.
Sounds like it's two different dogs.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, you notice that it only pops out and the eyes only it doesn't move anywhere. You see the eyes, the camera pans off somewhere else, come back. The eyes,
and she started focusing
the eyes reappeared between the same two trees again.
Yeah. It's in the same spot. So.
Yeah. But I might point out that if you were to encounter a Sasquatch in the dark with a video camera and its eyes reflected, it would be something like this as a result. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's that.
Now, what's the background story on all the dogs? Did they have dogs there? Is that what's doing?
Yeah. He did have dogs there, and
well, the dog is obviously reacting to something. Yeah.
So, and it's supposedly the same place, but he doesn't talk about the dogs at all, other than they were upset. But it's the same place where he has this footage of a baby Bigfoot on his infrared.
Well, now, why does he see baby Bigfoot? I mean, you could see anything from that. How does he know it's a baby Bigfoot?
And that's his claim. That
It just
it's the
looks like somebody in a
baby Bigfoot.
sleeveless T-shirt to me, facing to the left or right, dude. Like he's got some biceps or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I don't get baby Bigfoot at all.
Like a doll. I think it's a doll or something.
I don't know
I think
what
it's
that
the same doll he used at the log.
Oh yeah, the monkey doll.
Yeah, the monkey doll.
Oh, so this is a video from someone who has actually hoaxed before?
Well, it's the same guy. This is the same guy. This DB Young guy.
Oh, so he has
All
all
these
this.
are his.
Wow,
Yeah.
he's
Okay, well that puts it on the more of the BS meter. But
and absolutely nothing
Yeah.
conclusive. He's just got a bunch of
Nothing
random.
conclusive.
Like who's the
His-
guy, Brent, with the 25-foot Bigfoot? The guy that yells at you all the time.
Zasky,
Yes, that guy.
my BFF.
Yeah, yes, your Bigfoot friend. Yes,
Yeah.
it's like he's got all this evidence, but just none of it's not even close to being conclusive. It's like,
He has a
No,
lot of
to
stuff.
him,
but-
to him, it's completely conclusive.
no, I'm saying
To the
that's
point,
what he says.
he's frustrated. Yeah, to the point.
I'm
he's
saying.
frustrated.
Yeah. It's hard though. It's hard to be honest. When I see videos like that, I want to put them on the show more because they're so freaking funny, right? I find them so freaking funny. But then I
Yeah.
find by putting them on all the time, it's like this guy's such a retarded.
Yeah.
So
You're
ridiculous.
right.
Yeah.
So there's the comparison photos of Phil. Oops. That's the last one there. So
Phil's back.
big
The
Phil
BR
photo.
The
That's
BFRO
that guy.
paid somebody 10 grand for that photo in the rights. Is that what you said?
Yeah. The
Wow.
original. This that one right there.
Good old Don Young. He looks
So-
shifty.
Well, man, it makes you wonder how much Wally Hearst has invested into stuff like this. You know, like how much has Moneymaker really, spent his money on, like stuff
That's
like this.
true.
I'm kind of wondering. We should all do a deep dive on Matt Moneymaker and the shenanigans on how often he's wrong versus he is right, because he's supposedly the Bigfoot head honcho, and man, none of us really think he's a quality researcher. Not very reliable.
He was in radio first, right? Wasn't he in radio before he got into the whole Bigfoot thing? Like I think
Was it radio?
I think he was in radio. Like I think he was in sales or something like that. I think.
I'll tell you my long experience with Matt Moneymaker. I really have no problem with him and his research. What I got a problem with is his quickness to draw to conclusions, which I think is really, really premature a lot of the times. But that's just my opinion. But as a researcher in general, I really have no problem with the guy.
I don't know him, so I just know from what I hear and what I see, and I found that I felt bad for the whole finding Finding Bigfoot, right? That was obviously it's entertainment, right? And
It's entertainment.
and it's like if he was like do what I say, not what I do with him on the show, right? Is he would be the first one running down the hill yelling it's a Bigfoot coming, and then you don't yell if it's a Bigfoot, and then he'd be the first one to take off thinking it was really a Bigfoot, like the first couple seasons. So he's one of those guys that do what I say, don't what I do, and I don't know. I find him humorous. To be the perfect guy to be leading the charge of the BFRO is Matt Moneymaker. When you think of all the stuff that's going on in this community, right? And that doesn't say much about. And there are some great people in the BFRO. Do not get me wrong, right? There's some smart individuals. I just feel like they're handcuffed with what they have, the protocol they have to go through. It's ridiculous.
Exactly, and that's why I think maybe Matt Moneymaker should give up control and give it to the Bigfoot community so we can run it a lot better than he's doing it right now, because it's a disservice to us. It literally is.
Look at the money he makes on that thing. I mean, I just touched the tip of the iceberg in that, but I mean, he gets the dues, or everybody gets paid dues and stuff like that, and it's just like it's a whole.
Well, maybe if enough people pressure him into doing a better job with it, because it's not, it's not performing how it should be, then maybe he'll look into it. I don't know.
I doubt it. Come on.
I don't know. A lot of good
Poor
information
Nikki.
there.
She's got the wrong guys to do the guy. We're like, we get distracted at anything, man. We're just like,
It's okay.
wrangle the cats
I'll
here.
tell you one thing about the show Finding Bigfoot. They came up here to British Columbia, and their town hall meeting they had on the Chehalis Reserve. Most of them were people from my own files that I asked to go to do the show. Okay. Now, it's the guys who run the show. And they told me, because I was sitting in there and I was they were saying, do you know anything about this incident? And I'd hand them the file. Oh, did you hear about this incident? And I hand them another because I had everyone they were asking about. And they said, you know, and they confessed to me. They told me, we're a TV show. We're basically entertainment. The worst thing that could ever happen to us is we find Bigfoot.
And I think that's probably the worst thing that could ever happen to the BFRO, to be honest with you.
Yeah. Because he said, our main priority is to get enough interest in the show to justify another season. That's what it goes. That's what they told me. And they're right. It's a show. That's why they do it. To their credit, and I'll say this to their credit, Matt Moneymaker, Cliff Brackman, Bobo and stuff, to their credit, after the first season, some people behind the camera got fired because they were pulling shenanigans to try and create excitement. You may want to see an episode where Bobo took a dive off a porch because he heard a sound. That's because some idiot behind the camera threw an axe handle in the trees to create a disturbance. And they said, we will not do any direct hoaxing. That's it. And several people were let go. So they're quiet. However, they knew that thing was the back end of a horse they were looking at in the field. But the show was they still pass it off as a possible contact, you know, and they knew it wasn't. So there you go. It's a show.
It's a show.
Or it was a show. I think it's gone off the air now, but yeah.
Entertainment. Pure entertainment. Yeah. But here we go. So final word.
All of it was total BS.
Yeah, all of it.
It would be interesting too, though, Nikki, is if you and this is a conversation we can have openly because none of us are going to do it. But if you all like the anatomy of a Bigfoot hoax, right? If you went out to do one, but you shot the documentary on doing one, right? And then come out with the fact that you did it, and see what happens to a person when they, you know, it would be, like not Biscardi style, right? I guess he did it. I guess that would be, I guess that's in bad poor taste, but
there actually has been one of those done. Did you know that?
The Anatomy of the Hoax, I think, is what it's called, right? What was that movie called?
Hold on, I gotta get the big book for this.
Oh, the Big Book of Bigfoot Movies. Is that Nikki's Big Book of Bigfoot Movies?
The Bigfoot Book of Shame.
Well, I know Tom Biscardi did the Anatomy of a Hoax. Steve Coles had the 50 large book about that. That kind of broke down that. But yeah, there's no real breakdown of a hoax. You know, we talk about it a lot of different examples that we can give and stuff. But you know, you have Guy Edwards. He has the 5 stages of a hoax, which he came out with like 10 years ago, which is still applicable to today.
Did you find it?
So the Goat Mountain Bigfoot footage of 1996 was actually appeared on National Geographic in 97. And that whole deal was the 1997 documentary was produced by a British channel, directed by Norman Hull. And it was about this cameraman, John Waters, as he investigates half-heartedly trying to film a Sasquatch, but it was completely created. Okay.
Goat Mountain Bigfoot Hoax.
Okay, they created it.
Oh, I remember that. Yeah, that's the one where you see Freddish playing the drums in the bush.
Oh, I've seen that one. Yeah.
I just watched that one a couple of weeks ago. I was like, so I haven't seen that one for a little while.
Yeah.
To the end of the Bigfoot Monster Mystery, 1997.
Yeah, that was directed by John Waters.
Patrick Denver, who's the costume maker.
Not that John Waters.
I know. I was thinking John Waters, really.
Yeah, not that. That'd be cool. That'd be an interesting.
He was trying.
Divine walk out there.
He was trying to prove that whether or not you could create a film like the PG film, and they had this costume made, and they made a fake scenario, and he'd run, and the guy would disappear in the trees. And his conclusion was, every time I filmed him, it looked like a guy in a suit.
I remember that. Yeah, because he did it where he was running, right?
Yeah.
He was
He wasn't trying to fake. He wasn't trying to fake and pass it off as real. He was trying to show, like, hey, it's not when people say the PG film is obviously a fake. He was saying it's not that easy. I mean, here I am. It's 1990s. I got a much better camera than Rod Barrett. We'll try it. And they had this guy make the costume. They had a big guy wearing it, and they reran it 3 And they tried it 4 or 5 times till the guy got so cold he couldn't do it anymore. And
I remember that, yeah.
No matter how many times we tried this, it always looked like a guy in a suit. Yeah. Yep.
Yep. Well, there you go, guys. That is the first half of the show.
Larry Lund was helping them out with that, and John Freitas and guys like that.
I don't know, man. I don't know why. Honestly, people have to wake up in the morning and they have to live with themselves, right? I mean, and these people have decided, I guess, narcissistic, right? I mean, it's easy to live with yourself when you think you're the best and you did nothing wrong, I guess.
Yeah, that's the thing is, don't try to understand it because you're not going to. These people live on a different planet. That's the thing is you'll never understand it. We'll never understand these people. We're not really meant to because they're just so broken in their own ways of narcissism, and all we could do is just kind of let others know and help better recognize it in this subject and point those people out because they have no shame.
Speaking of that same show, they went up to some logging operation, I guess in the woods of Oregon there, and there was this guy who was sort of like a site watchman up there.
Yeah, living in a trailer.
Prepared to be bedazzled. And he says right there on the phone, well, why don't you take a picture of them, Chief? He said, well, if I take a picture, I'll have every yahoo with the gun out here. Well, you're going on a TV program telling them about it now. So, why are you even saying anything? And again, bunch of trees bent over strangely here and stuff. Bigfoot did that. Oh, that piece of bark, Bigfoot did that, blah, 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 blah. And of course, it was all in his mind. And like the late Renee always told me and told everyone else, I don't care about Sasquatch in his goddamn mind. I care about Sasquatch out there in the bush.
Yeah, but that guy, he got some people to come and hang out with him. He got to be on a TV show. So it's like, a little lie got him a little reward. And he can live with himself. We might not be able to live with ourselves.
Yeah, a little notoriety.
But people, they have no problem sleeping at night, lying straight to your face, even your friends.
He was lying about the whole thing. He was at least honest. The guy asked him, if I came out here with my cameras for a few nights and...
I remember that. I totally remember that.
We'd see something. He said, totally wasting your time. Obviously, because either nothing's ever happened, he's making it all up, or two, it happened so things happen so, very oddly or rarely that the odds of being there at the right time at the right place is a long shot at best.
I remember that. I didn't know what that was called. See, you learn something. You learn something new every day.
Great. Well, let's move on, boys. Let's move on to the last. We're gonna keep on going. We gotta keep on tracking here. But here we go. Let's do it.
Show me what you got. Jim, you heard them. Said, show me what you got. Show me what you got. I want to see what you got. Oh boy.
Oh boy, we got it. So here's a few things that came out this week in the groups, and this is what was that?
Like a tree stump to me.
Yeah, to me too. But they said it's some type of hominoid over there. Some hominoids over there. It's all that we got.
Over there. Where?
Yeah, over there. There's some hominoids.
Do you guys not see the other two in the back there? Dang it! Somebody get out the red circle.
Yeah, I see that.
What about this circle? I think that one's better. About that one.
The Family Feud, right?
Put it this way: if it was a hominid they photographed, their picture doesn't prove anything.
Yep.
No, there's only one.
No backstory, no nothing. I was going on a trail and I saw these hominoids.
It looks like
hominoids, huh? Hominoid.
Like
I'm annoyed with their hominoid.
Yep. That's what it said.
It looks
here's another one. Here's another one.
Can you blow that up?
And no, I can't because it's on a slide.
What's the background story on this?
I can.
It's like a leaf. Some sort of leaf. I don't know.
There's only one.
Yeah, see, it won't let me. Just a thing out there. It's not moving. There's no video to this. It's just I saw this.
Kind of stuck like this.
Yeah, it's kind of weird.
Do we have any background?
Yeah, nothing, Thomas. There's nothing.
Tom wants to know if there's any background on this one.
Yeah, nothing but Bigfoot in the woods.
Who's putting this stuff out? That's what you really got to go look at.
They're
Who's
being
putting this
shared.
stuff out?
This one I think I saw on 2 different sites, 2 different groups.
Did it come with its own red circle?
Yes, it came with. I didn't do that. Yeah. No, you'd already seen my red circle.
Oh, that's right.
My red circle. So it's just that's what's being put out, right? And people are underneath there making comments of, "Whoa, that's a great picture." I've never seen one so clear. And,
Tom, what do you think of that one?
Well, I see an object there that could be interpreted as something, but again, there's no background information or anything, so that's a huge red flag.
Mm-hmm.
That could very easily be just a tree stump or whatever. Yeah.
It's not from the Squatch Watchers, is it?
No, not this one.
Oh boy.
Oh boy. Yep.
Now there's another one called Squatch Watch 1. I don't know if that's them too.
But without anything, it's basically, even if it was a Sasquatch, as evidence, it's useless.
Pretty much. Pretty much.
I look forward to Thinker Thunker approving it.
And here's another Eyeshine. And this one, I do have a video for you. So.
By the same guy as before?
That one looks like a Bigfoot right there. Oh, that's your screen.
Oh.
That one's scary.
You're distracting me. Wait. Oh, where is it? Is that it? I think it's it. Yeah, that's it. Let me get it bigger. Bigger. Oh, that's as big as I can go. Ooh.
There you go.
No, it won't.
Squatch Twat? What's it from? Squatch Twat?
Squatch Watch 1.
Oh, I thought it was Squatch Twat.
It just wants to make this little thing here bigger, but
Squatch Watch 1.
It won't let me get any bigger than that. Sorry. So here we go. It's just gonna zoom in.
Oh, it's a little puppy dog.
There's scary music, hey guys, just so you know. But I'm gonna take that off.
What's it doing? It's not somebody's cat.
It's staring.
I know, but it looks like a little cat.
I can't see shit.
It was like low to the ground,
I know,
right?
Yeah, very.
On the ground.
Super low to the ground.
It's a cat.
So it's like that big. It's not even that big.
See it down low? You're looking at the wrong. There it is. It's a cat. Yeah, kitty.
I think it's a small animal of some kind.
Yeah.
I think it's the tree octopus.
Oh boy.
Once again. Here we go. Evidence. You want it?
It is
there
not
you go.
a Bigfoot. It is not.
I love the music. That's so awesome.
It is not. So.
Why did the photographer think it might be?
Never said it was. Just
okay.
Yeah. It was. What did it say on the bottom? Oh shoot! I gotta go to the room.
Okay, I wouldn't call
something. It says something is keeping an eye on a night hiker.
Okay, well, I wouldn't call it total BS. I'd just say it's an animal of some kind, but probably small. Yeah.
And then a bunch of hashtags:
Bigfoot,
Sasquatch, Squatch Watch, Bigfoot sighting, Bigfoot signs, Bigfoot.
Tall ones in there. Is that what that says?
Oh, look at that!
It'd be like tree octopus.
Hashtag tree octopus. I need a shirt that says that.
Okay, let's get rid of that. Let me go back. Okay, next.
There's definitely an animal there. It's just small.
Something. Yeah, it is small. Very small. Okay, this was supposedly taken on the Navajo reservation, and that they claimed that they came around a corner, they had their camera, their phone, they snapped a shot of it going away, and it was carrying a deer.
Where's the deer?
I don't know. Whatever that thing is underneath, if you were to say that's the back.
Can we blow this one up?
Enhance.
I can. It's on the slide. I needed to do that prior. So yeah, no, but there's not much to see. There's nothing there. It's a big dark spot. Pretty much, that's it.
I mean, I can see what they could perceive. I mean, if we're talking paranoia here, I can see what they would perceive as. The thing is these people need an amazing amount of attention. It seems like they putting this stuff up there, because you look at the hashtags in the last one, right? Hashtag, and it's like, you know, the algorithm stops at 15 hashtags, right? So if you put 200 hashtags up there, it doesn't help your situation. It makes it worse. But these people, I don't know, Thomas, what do you think there? You see, if it's supposed to be facing, I guess it's walking into the woods in the back, and that would be the deer under its left arm is what they're talking about.
Yeah.
Okay.
Again, we got some photographer's word as evidence. It's useless. I don't know. Don't know enough about the background story.
Right. And these are supposed Bigfoot prints. But to me, it looks like maybe the dog was walking, and then she's got her prints there, and she put them all together.
Yeah, because if you look up, if you go up to the left of the second picture, you can see what looks like two little dog prints next to the boot print.
Yeah.
That's that paranoia.
Exactly.
She's wearing sandals, flip flops.
I knew somebody was going to notice that.
He's one staring at the foot.
Yeah. Sandals. And then there's been out there. Yep.
I recently saw that's two bears.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember that. That gives you an idea how big a brown bear is over to a black bear, right? Is that what that is?
But that's man, I don't think two bears would get that close like that.
Oh, it depends. It could be a mother with a cub that's growing up, or it could be a female with a male. Black bears aren't always black. So there are obviously two black bears. Grizzly would not tolerate a black bear being that.
Okay.
Yeah. But the hair is weird. I have
and if it was a grizzly, that black bear would be going up the tree real fast.
It's a yak.
Well, yeah, I mean, it does.
I said it looks like a yak.
It looks like a grizzly bear, but I also wonder if it's like a stuffed one or something. You know how people use decoys out there?
Oh, that's a pretty good decoy.
Yeah, you taxidermy or not. You don't even have to really taxidermy because there's no head on it. But you know, there's also no other photos on it. When it looks like there was an opportunity for the trail cam to take other photos. But it looks, I don't know.
I think it's just a misidentification that's marketed as a hoax, as a Bigfoot.
Because it's like and if it's a trail cam, where's the trail cam markings at it?
I can't even see why they would think Bigfoot.
Yeah.
Right. It was just in a Bigfoot group. Nobody was making anything other than people themselves in the comments were saying, well, that's weird. That could really be Bigfoot hair, and it was all
like they know
to the hair.
They know. They see a lot of Bigfoot hair.
Then people were joking around about the blonde, saying it was a blonde Sasquatch and all kinds of stuff.
My guess, Mama Black Bear with her growing up cub.
That's what I think too. Definitely. I agree.
Hey, I gotta jump off here, sweetheart.
Yep. This is good stuff.
Thank you so much. I do.
Thanks,
Thank
Brendon,
you so much
for being here. And
I wish I had more fun. Brent, it was always a pleasure. And Thomas,
absolutely.
Always a pleasure. And
we'll be out of here to go listen to you on Squatch TV, folks.
Yes,
double header today.
Yeah, I know. I'm doing the talk show circus. I got a circuit. I got to go to the Ellen show next, right?
Thanks,
The View. I'm heading over to the View across the town. All right, kids. See you later.
Awesome.
Thanks, man.
Thanks.
Take care.
Right,
bye.
See you later.
Bye.
See you, Brett.
And then there were two. So our last little segment. Let's do the news if I can find it. So this first one I want to talk about is my friend Claudia Ackley, who passed on the 3rd. Very sad. My condolences go out to her family and to Ed Brown. Very sad news. If those of you who don't know who Claudia was, she actually teamed up with Todd Standing and sued the California Department of Fish and Wildlife to help recognize Bigfoot as a species. But she was a lovely, lovely person. Okay, if you ever talk to her, she was the nicest person you ever talked to. And
I agree. I talked to her when I first got into the subject and stuff. Talked to her extensively, and she was such a sweet lady. I was really shocked because she was so young at the age of 51, but she had health issues, and it looks like, you know, this is the result of said health issues and no other reason other than that. So yeah, this was a real shocker. This is you know, it sucks because yeah, it's like
it does. Leaving her kids.
Yeah, her kids too. That's the thing.
Older, but the picture on the side there is a screenshot of her video of where she claimed to have seen a Bigfoot up in the tree, a smaller Bigfoot, 6 foot, 5 foot, 6 foot, something like that, staring at her and her 2 girls as they were walking in the woods. And I'm sure that video is still out there. Do I have it?
Yeah, she was also there during that Barb Shoop video of what everybody says, or what is said to be a cloaking Bigfoot.
Oh, that's right. She was there. But anyway, Claudia had been following me for years and years and years. So my condolences. I'm so sad for that. So, but moving on, we've got the Summoning the Spirit trailer, and I'm going to play that for you here.
This is another movie?
Another movie.
Is it Bigfoot?
Here we go.
We're here. And we all know how special it is to be here.
I want this, but stretching our budget right.
Have faith in us.
We've been entrusted with keeping the spirit alive. But it's dying, dear ones.
This place that I'm going, we're going to listen and learn and connect with the spirit.
So that's just a little tidbit of it. I don't want to play the whole thing so they don't shut us down.
What's it about?
It's about bringing out the spirit of Bigfoot. No, it's like a little commune that gets together and they're trying to find themselves and whatever. But in the woods is a Bigfoot, so he ends up taking them out one by one.
Oh man, so Bigfoot's the dick.
Yeah, it's pretty much a horror movie.
It's a horror movie.
Yeah. It gets pretty gross.
Man, people have no imagination. No imagination, man. They can't make Bigfoot be more realistic.
Right. Yeah, no, it's definitely not a nice Bigfoot. It's directed by John Garcia, who co-wrote the film screenplay alongside Zach Carter. Summoning the Spirit is a new Bigfoot horror movie that will be released August of 2023. The film is produced by Michael Refsh, Joe Jacko, and Lacey Todd. So, what else do I have on this one? We already talked about that. Yep, that's pretty much the gist of that. So, I don't know. I'm going to watch it just because you've got to watch the shows so you can talk about it. It seems interesting enough anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Next up, something interesting that I found. Do you remember a couple of shows back? Matter of fact, on my extra read all about it episode, we talked about how there were these photos going around, these black and white photos, and we had discovered that it was off of an Instagram account called at the AI Experiment. Well, now these photos are still going around everywhere. People thinking that they're real and that they're super old. There was even a lady in the chat saying they found this photo inside a jar in a garage. They had made that whole story up, okay? And I came across this. This is from Reuters. Reuters is now fact-checking Bigfoot photos. So, of course, they found exactly what I found, that Dan Lyle, the artist behind At the AI Experiment, told Reuters in an email that the image was generated on the AI tool Midjourney using the following prompt: picture of the last known giant Neanderthal on Earth walking amongst normal height men, black and white, tattered vintage photo. That whole thing got put into that AI search or AI generator.
As we said earlier in this episode, with AI, it's just going to get worse.
Mm-hmm. And but I thought it was interesting that now they have to start fact checking.
Well, a lot of these so-called Pioneer Day pictures, or like the famous one where the dead Sasquatch hanging upside down.
Oh yeah,
and it's actually the original photograph. It's a bear, but they changed it to make it look. And the other one where they're holding it up by the arms,
right?
That was a bear. And the other one with the pterodactyl nailed to a bar.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yep.
For sure, I should have those just up here because we always talk about those photos, but it's crazy. So this next one was kind of fun. This guy says, ever seen Bigfoot? Cows are dragging along Interstate 5 here at Eureka. Artists to thank Jessica. No. That's the writer. Skropanic, Reading Record Searchlight. This just came out saying, you may never have heard the name Ralph Starrett, but if you've driven in far northern California on Interstate 5, you know his work. The giant metal cows that stand in the grassy space along highway between Granada and Eureka are among dozens of Starrett sculptures that dot the North State. Truckers traveling on the highway told the artist it's common practice to use the cows rather than the town name to designate locations. So he says it's always a good feeling knowing that sculptures are North State landmarks that begin the integral part of the Siskiyou County cultural. And he did that Bigfoot statue there.
That's cool looking.
It is really cool. He's got all kinds of animals and stuff. I didn't put all the pictures up there, but cows and...
Do you want to know a real big difference I noticed between you Americans and us Canadians?
What's up?
Not saying that with this example, but a lot of the artists I noticed in the United States renditions of Sasquatch, it's always ripped. It looks like Schwarzenegger in his prime and hair, whereas in Canada, it's like Schwarzenegger as he looks today with hair. Our Sasquatch always seemed to be big physically, but more like Andre the Giant type, whereas in the United States, it always looks like the guy came out of the gym.
Gotta appeal to women more.
Yeah.
Gotta be ripped.
Not our couch potato beer drinking Canadian ones.
Oh man. One thing only. I had a friend, her mom took a picture of this outside her door at her neighbor's house across the street. So be on the lookout for bears on your porch if you live in Fort Walton Beach, Florida. Because he's kind of big. He looks pretty big to me.
It's a common problem here where I live in Mission. We had a woman killed 5 years ago when a bear broke into her house. Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, they're coming in here, like into the urban areas. It's like, dang.
Oh, well,
like
this
right
is
up the
more
road,
of a,
literally.
yeah, it could be on the lookout than I thought.
I posted just outside my old house. I just posted a picture a week ago of a bear that was just hit right on the side of the road, right outside front door a few nights ago. Yeah.
Well, thank you, gentlemen. That kind of brings everything to a head, and really appreciate it. We had a great discussion, and
someone mentioned, I just want to say in chat, what proof would we consider authentic? I'll tell you what: body or piece of a body or skeletal remains.
Yeah,
I would be more impressed with a photograph that's even blurry and distant. You can't make it out if it was taken by a group that had nothing to do with Sasquatch.
Yeah.
A group going out to do a study on wolverines or bears or something like that. And they said, we encountered this. How come that never happens? You know?
There was a 72 game cam study down by Mount St. Helens. It was a general geology. I forgot what they were looking. It was like fisher or something, looking for fishers or something. Anyway, 72 trail cams out there, you know, a lot of them hidden and stuff. And I emailed them, you know, saying, hey, do you got any unusual photos or anything? And they didn't, but I should probably do a video on that. But man, that's 72 trail cams out there, and like what's supposed to be a primo area. It's kind of a concern.
And it really bothers me in our national parks here, all the wildlife crossings and fences they have now. They've gotten video footage of every large animal we know is there, but guess what they don't have footage of?
Yep. Yep. Yeah, there's actually a live feed here. I think it's still going up now of one of the new wildlife passes that they did. And yeah, they got all types of animals. But yeah, no Bigfoot yet. But maybe Bigfoot will stay away from that stuff because it's too human-like. Like, hey, something suspicious is going
the
on
Canadian
here.
park ones, they got an out because the cameras are not 24/7, 365 days a year. They put a couple on this one for a week, then they move it over to another one and another one. Now, the ones on the new ones going up on the I-5 just north of Vancouver, the next 10 years is going to be a critical looking at those ones because they are apparently, as I've heard, 24/7, 365 days a year. So that will be interesting. Looking at those I-5 wildlife crossing tunnel cameras over the next, say, 5 to 10 years. Let's see what we can come up with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got anything coming up, Brent?
Nothing really. Well, I got a bunch of videos I want to work on, but I've just been working so much. So, and preparing for our shindig at the end of the month too. So,
yes. It's coming up. It's coming up faster than we think, for sure.
Yeah, no kidding.
Being there, so unless something happens, I can't go at the last minute. I plan to be there too.
I hope so.
We'll have to drive all the way up there and get you, Thomas.
It'll be my first time south of the border since COVID started. So yeah.
Wow, it's gonna be great. We're gonna have a good time. Hopefully, we can get some good footage of that and share clips. I don't think there's signal up there, according to Jay, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah, there's not, but I was wanting to shoot like a little documentary type of thing for everybody, just so they can like share in their experience.
Just do me a favor, guys. I know how to get to Cougar, but that Route 81 going north for 45 minutes, you got keep an eye out for me, will you? Because I'm permanently lost. Because my GPS can find it. Yeah.
Are you coming in on Tuesday or Wednesday?
Wednesday.
Wednesday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very early Wednesday. I was planning to leave very early in the morning and
okay.
Yeah.
So you're taking I-5 down, Thomas. I take it. Yeah, dude, traffic's bad, bro. Like I'm literally leaving almost in the middle of the night just to avoid traffic because it'll save me 2 hours.
Even in the middle of the week. The I-5 is usually pretty busy all the time, but is it that busy?
Yeah, like even in the middle of the week, dude, it's like, it's a joke. Like literally, it's a joke now. The traffic here is a joke. So just
the only ways I know is the I-5 down to the Route 503. What is that? 503? 503. Yeah.
Something I recommend you doing is go ahead and do a GPS like on your phone with Google Maps and do a quick thing of how long it'll take to Google during different points or times of the day and stuff, so you can kind of see what the drive times are, which of course will shift. But literally, traffic adds an extra 2 hours for me.
Yeah, all the times I've gone down the I-5, I've always left like 1, 2 in the morning. That way I'm through Seattle before.
Perfect. Yeah. That's perfect. Yeah. Because once you get through Tacoma.
Yeah. Okay. Well, everybody, don't forget.
So yeah, it should be fun.
Thanks for being here. Thanks, and make sure you hit that like button, share, please. Tell everybody to come over here, watch me. But don't forget, go over to Steve's. He's probably waiting for y'all. Love you guys and see you in the next chat.